Interest rates, interest rates, interest rates. They're all the rage these days. What's fixed? What's variable? What's been happening? What's predicted? And what is the best option for you? Today we're going to cover all of this. This is Curbside with Crystal. Fixed, variable, what's going up, what's going down, now's the time to buy, now's not the time to buy. What is a buyer to do? But before we get into interest rates and which is the best option for you, if you find this information useful, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you know of anybody who's dying to hear about interest rates and all things real estate, please share this video so more people can keep up to date. And of course, feel free to follow me on the social channels so I know I'm not talking to myself. So back to the market. So the market is finally reaching a point where multiple offers are pretty much becoming a thing of the past, and buyers actually have a fighting chance of getting a house these days. But now, of course, we're hit with rising interest rates and interest rates hike. So where's the win? What's the scoop? And what's a buyer to do? So first of all, let's talk about the difference between fixed and variable rate mortgages. So a fixed rate mortgage is one where the interest rate is fixed or stays the same for the term of the mortgage. Now this is the term, not the full amortization. Typically speaking, mortgages are amortized over 20, 25, or 30 years, but the term, basically your short-term contract with your lender, is much shorter, normally 1, 2, 3, or 5 years. Although there are other terms as well. So if you have a fixed rate mortgage, your interest rate is the same for the term. So for that 1, 3, 4, or 5 years. And then you renegotiate with the lender or you shop around and go elsewhere for your next term. Now, with a variable rate mortgage, the mortgage rate, the interest rate will change with the prime lending rate as set by the lender. So a variable rate will be quoted as prime plus or minus a specific amount, such as prime minus 0.7%. So the prime lending rate may fluctuate, but your relationship, that 0.7%, will stay constant throughout your term. So historically speaking, variable rates have been below fixed rates, and variable rate mortgages have really been the way to go as you're paying less interest on your mortgage. It would seem, however, that what is happening right now is quite unique, and we're actually making history, so I'm not sure that it makes sense to look at historical trends. So which is the better way to go for you? So with fixed rate mortgages, consider the following. So first of all, the initial interest rate is often higher than the variable rate. So interest rate is typically higher than variable. You're locked into that interest rate, again, for the term of your mortgage. So if there's fluctuations that are not in your favor, you're stuck with that term. Now, if you break your mortgage for any reasons, the penalty are going to be significantly higher than if you're breaking a variable rate mortgage. So that's something to pay attention to. Number 4, you really don't need to pay close attention to the 8 Bank of Canada announcements each year because they're not going to affect you in the short term. That's going to affect you when you do your next term. So if the thought of changing interest rates stresses you out, fixed may be the way to go. Now, with variable rate mortgages, if the prime rate rises, your interest rate is going to go up accordingly. So one of two things will happen depending on the type of variable mortgage you have. So 1, less of your payments will go towards your principal, which will stretch out the amortization of your mortgage. Or 2, your mortgage payments will increase, and this is often going to happen without any notice, and it's going to make budgeting a little bit more difficult. Typically speaking, though, variable rates have been below fixed rates, but the Bank of Canada announcements that have been made this year, once again, anything but typical. So we're not seeing sort of the historical trends that we've seen in the past. So let me share the tale of 2 clients. So one client bought a house in November of 2020 and was able to lock in at 1.84% for 5 years. This is an amazing steal, and the client locked in and is now very comfortable with their fixed rate mortgage. They are aware that in another 3 years, the cost of carrying the house is going to be much higher, but in the meantime, it's very affordable and they totally made the right decision. So another client purchased a house in May of 2022. He could have locked in at a fixed rate of 3.2% at the time, or get a variable rate of prime minus 0.7, which of course is 2.5%, which is still a pretty good deal, and of course below that fixed rate. So variable was the decision that was made on this house. However, in retrospect, had the client locked in at May, they'd still be paying that 3.2%, but instead, and since the last couple of announcements have been pretty significant, he is now paying a variable rate of 4%, and it is threatening and pretty much guaranteed that that's going to go higher with the next couple of announcements. So had he locked in May, he would be laughing and still at that 3.2%. So this scenario shows that variable perhaps wasn't the best decision given the threat of increasing rates. So the $1 million question is, does he lock in now or stay put, hoping that the mortgage rates will eventually decline next year? Where is my crystal ball? So the Bank of Canada has 8 interest rates announcements each year. The next one is happening on September 7th, and it is expected that it's going to be another hike. Rumors say that it's going to be anywhere between 0.5 point and a full percent. So we've already seen a total of 2.25% increase this year, and the last hike was 1%, which has been the largest that we've seen since 1998. Personally, and with several of my investors' clients, they're holding a mix of variable and fixed rate mortgages. For the investment properties, that were just breaking even, they may see a temporary negative cash flow. But let's not panic, because this is real estate, and we all know that it is the best long-term investment you can make. So even if they're taking a short-term hit, their investments are still going to pay out in the long run. So go ask your parents or ask your grandparents about the interest rates that they paid in the late 80s. They were crazy, but they still made out very well on their properties, and that was a temporary setback. So as far as what is the best option for you, well, it's difficult to say because every situation is different, and everyone's tolerance for change and stress is different. So what I suggest is that you go speak with your mortgage professional, discuss the options, run the numbers, and consider both options before signing on the dotted line. Once again, if you find this content interesting, please like and subscribe to the page, and feel free to share it with others. Also, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more content. Once again, it's Crystal Powell, real estate broker with RE/MAX Jazz, serving Durham Region and the Quinte West. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, have any questions about the market or all things real estate, just call Crystal. Talk to you soon.